hear my voice?
Yeah, we'll just wait for for Michael to give us the go ahead. Oh, good. All right, let's roll.
Bismillah.
Bismillah. Hi, everyone. So welcome back to Elitist Anthropology. It's your host, Nicholas, here for episode 2. I hope you enjoyed last week where we interviewed Kira Sullivan. That was a really fun time. So we would definitely want to say thanks to Kira for coming on the pod. And today we have another super fun guest. So I actually met this guest in 2018. I had just moved to New York. We both went to the same university, and I was sitting in the lounge of of a dorm that she did not live in. And her friends were like talking, they were sitting at a table next to me, and I was like, oh my God, like they're so funny. Like, and I didn't know anyone. So I just started talking to them, and we've been really good friends ever since. And you probably won't recognize her voice, but if you saw her, you probably would recognize her because her face is actually in a lot of places that you go pretty often. Her face is in Mac, her face is in Target. She's the biggest model in Brooklyn as far as I'm concerned. And her name is Tabara. Hey Tabara, welcome to the pod.
Thank you, Nicholas, for having me.
You're so welcome. So I introduced you, but now you introduce you. What should people know about you?
Okay, my name is Tabara. You know, my name has a lot of A's, so there's so many pronunciations of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tabara in my language, but, you know, I go by Tabara because it's easier for people to pronounce. So,
What's your language?
I speak Pular and Wolof. I'm from Senegal, but I was born here and went to Senegal like back and forth.
Yeah.
While I was growing up, but I'm Senegalese American. I'm here. I'm 22 years old.
Okay.
I'm a model, as Nicholas said. You know, a little part-time model, like side hustle type of thing. Hoping to make it, like, you know, hoping to make it out the hood.
Yeah, one day out the trenches.
Yes. And I just graduated school with my bachelor's degree in Africana Studies and Journalism this past May.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, I'm just, like, you know, chilling, living life, enjoying the...
Yeah.
You know, time off from school.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like, how are you doing? How's your week? How's your morning?
My morning was actually really good. It was kind of hard for me to get out of bed this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got out, like, I was so happy. The sun was shining. Like, I feel like
this entire
week, it's been so cloudy, and it's so hard to, like, you know, get out of bed and, like, you know, motivate yourself to, like, do things.
Yeah.
So this morning it was nice and sunny. Like, I woke up. Even though I kept snoozing my alarm, I finally woke up, took a shower.
Do you have, like, are you one of those people that has to set, like, 8 a.m., 8:05, 8:10, 8:15?
Yes, but I do it in 15-minute intervals just so that, like, so when I'm, like, say I'm waking up at, like, 8, for example, I would put an alarm for 7:30 just to kind of, like, slowly wake my body up and not just wake up so abruptly, you know, because I'd prefer, like, to know, like, okay, I have, like, 15 more minutes left to sleep or 30 more minutes left to sleep. So, yeah, I'm one of those people, but I do it in 15 intervals, and I do, like, 3 alarms max. But I always wake up. Like, I'm a very light sleeper.
Are you a morning person?
Yeah, I would say I'm a morning person, but I don't wake up super early, like at 4 or 5 o'clock like these people do. But you know,
I feel like that's been a lot of propaganda lately. Like, I feel like I see a lot of people talking about that. Like, why I wake up at 5 a.m., my 5 a.m. morning routine.
Well, I'm not on TikTok, but I feel like TikTok has played a big role in that. And
I'm not on it either, but I see it a lot on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. I see, like, people, like, I see videos of people on TikTok saying, like, wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. It'll change your life. It's like, if you have no reason to wake up at 5 a.m., why are you waking up that early? Like, I can understand if you have, like, a early job, you know, where you start at 7 a.m., then you gotta wake up at 5 a.m. But, you know, if you just have, like, a 9 to 5, like, just chill out and get some extra sleep. Like,
7:30 is fine.
Yeah.
I think that's a good, like, that's a good morning time, like, for, like, an everyday wake up between 7 and 9.
Yeah.
Like, that's enough.
Exactly. Like, why, you know, make your life even harder? But then again, people are different.
They live to grind.
And as long as you're getting, like, 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, then just do your thing. If you can go to sleep at 9 and wake up at, like, 4, then okay.
Yeah.
Go off.
Do you get, like, enough sleep every night?
Oh, I do. One thing, I don't play about my sleep.
Tell us about your sleep hygiene. Like, what's the vibe?
So I usually go to sleep around 12 to 1.
Okay.
Like, that's the time I go to sleep. And I like to wake up around 8, sometimes 7, depending on work, because I work late. And I work all the way in Brooklyn, and I live in Harlem. So by the time I get home, it's like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And, like I have like a whole like routine at night. I have to like eat.
This is Elitist Anthropology, so we want to know the routine all the way.
So do you want to know my nighttime routine or my morning routine first?
You pick.
Since we're on the subject of the nighttime, I'll tell you my nighttime routine.
Okay.
So when I'm working, I get home like around 10:30ish because I work all the way in Crown Heights and I live in Harlem. And then as soon as I get home, it's like the hard part because I'm like exhausted. So I'm like, okay, I need to make up my prayers. But then I'm also really hungry. So what do I do first? But I like to...
the fundamental question of man.
Yes. But so I like
I need to pray and I need to eat.
Yes. So I like to pray first just to like... Because I find that as soon as I eat, I get really tired and really lazy. And I just want to make sure that, I'm doing my... my daily prayers and stuff. So ideally, it's not all the time, but ideally I like to pray first and then eat and then shower and then go to sleep.
Okay.
And have like some time to like unwind because I also don't want to just like, get home and as soon as I get home, go to sleep because I feel like you don't even feel relaxed, you know?
Yeah.
You need time to like, just decompress before you go to sleep and not bring it into your sleep. Like that's just how I see it. Yeah. But so like praying like allows me to do that, like unwind a little bit when I eat and like watch a show or a movie. Like it's really nice. And yeah, like I love my space. I have my little oil diffuser. So I would like, turn it on.
What type of oils do you put in there?
My favorite one is lavender. I have like the sleep well
That's like good
blend.
For sleep, right? Like lavender.
Yeah. And I love peppermint. I add peppermint in every one that I do, but I always mix it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the Tabara mix like?
So some nights I'll do the sleep well mix that has like chamomile, rose, lavender, like, soothing things mixed with like mint.
Okay.
Or I'll do fir needle. Do you know fir needle? It's like it's like the pine from a Christmas tree.
Oh,
like that smell.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Like it's so like refreshing and relaxing to me. Like you need to get you some fir needle essential oils because it's so good.
Okay.
But I love it. But I like that one more so in the morning just because it has a very like, invigorating smell.
Yeah, lifting up type of feeling. Okay, so tell me about the morning.
So in the morning, like I said, I wake up between 7 and 8, sometimes 9, honestly. Like I'm not even going to lie and say I wake up at like, 6:45. And when I wake up, like I try to not like get on any social media. Maybe I'll text my mom because my mom sends me like a message every morning telling me to have a good day, whatever.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. And I'll text my mom, wake up, take a shower, like go straight to the shower, do like my like skin routine, shower routine, all that stuff. And then when I get out, I'll like make my morning tea. Like this is essential. Like I said, I don't play about my my sleep. I do not play about my tea.
I've been on your vibe lately.
Yeah. I
don't know if you've seen. Yeah. I'm like, I make green tea now and I'm like, I'm on Tabara mode.
No, for real. And it's like you get the same, like at least I feel awake after I drink it. But my favorite one is Moroccan mint green tea.
Ooh,
or gunpowder green tea, and I'll add some like fresh mint to it. But I have like this little teapot, and my favorite tea blends are from Harney and Sons. Okay. So I get their Moroccan mint tea, or I have like this Chinese flower tea, or I'll use like white tea because white tea also has a lot of caffeine in it. Yeah. And I'm not a coffee drinker, but I also want to feel like awake and have the energy to like start my day. So I usually go for a green tea or a white tea. I set it and I let it brew a little bit. And then while I'm letting it brew, I like go up, like put on like because it's winter time, I put on like my undergarments, like my turtleneck, my heat tech turtleneck from Uniqlo and my leggings, my socks, kind of like I don't put on my whole outfit yet. I just put those on.
Base layer.
Yes, the base layers, exactly.
Okay.
And then I go back to like the dining table where I have my tea and stuff. Oh, I forgot. Right after I get out the shower, I pray, like my morning prayer. Yeah. And then that's when I make my tea. Okay. So I forgot to add that part. And then when I go back to like my dining table where I have my tea brewing, I'll like pour it into my cup and then I'll like play a guided meditation and meditate for like 10 minutes. And then I'll read 3 pages from this book that my friend lended me called Your True Home. And it's like little like poems or like prose that like, kind of like, it's like little stories of like, of wisdom, you know.
Like kind of like affirmations type of thing?
Yeah, affirmations or like little lessons to carry on throughout your day. And you're just supposed to read it like in small, like,
Yeah, like bits and pieces.
Yeah, like you're not supposed to read it like everything at once. So I like to read about 2 to 3 of those excerpts, and then after that, I'm ready to start my day. I go on like YouTube, see what's popping, Netflix.
Yeah.
Go scroll on Instagram, scroll on Twitter, like respond to text messages. And yeah. So all that's why I always have to wake up at least 2 hours or 2 hours and a half before I have to like leave the house, Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been nice. Like because it's like, before you dedicate time for other people, whether that's work or socializing, like at least like you have time for yourself and, prioritizing your own space and just creating a vibe for yourself,
Precisely. That's what
like,
you must do.
You don't like, living in New York already it's hectic as it is, you don't really get time for yourself. So it's like nice to, dedicate small portions in the beginning and in the end of the day to do that. Yeah.
So one question I have for you is I'm really interested in the transit system.
Yeah.
And so can you tell me how you got here today?
So today I took 4 trains.
Which ones?
I took the 6 to the 4 to the A to the G, and then I walked for about 15 minutes.
Oh, wow. You're on a trek.
Yeah, but this is normal for me. I grew up in New York. I'm from New York. So like, the transit, the NPA subways is my car.
Yeah.
That's what I drive, So yeah.
Did you see anything weird today?
Not today, but because it's a weekend, it's a Saturday. I hate taking the trains on weekends because of the tourists. They're so annoying, especially like on the by Fulton Street. Like they have no sense of like space or like I don't know, like you can just tell. Yeah. And they like slow you down so much.
And I feel like you must always run into them because you always have to come down like through Midtown.
Yeah,
like, you always come
exactly.
Through the busiest parts.
Yeah, exactly. And like the trains are always packed. It's like it's not rush hour, but it's the weekend, so everybody's out and about. Yeah.
Wow, fascinating. So
yeah, but I love people watching on the train. Like it's so much fun.
I saw the craziest thing the other day. So I went to go see the piano lesson with my aunt. And so she was just in town like for the weekends. She's staying in Times Square. So she's like, oh, like meet me at my hotel and then we could just walk to the place. Like, all right, okay. So I get on the A train. And when I get on, there's this man. He's asleep. He's homeless. And he's like, it's very visible that he's homeless. He's got a shopping cart full of his belongings tied around the pole so it doesn't slide while he's sleeping. Yeah. Okay, not out of the ordinary, nothing strange. So I sit down across from him and there's this woman like sitting next to me. So the train goes a little bit and then like these people get on the train and they start asking for money and they're like, oh, like we're a nonprofit. We like make meals and stuff for the homeless. Like, can anybody donate? And this like wakes him up. So when he wakes up, he looks at the woman that's sitting across from me and he's like, because she's like digging her purse, like about to give them like $5 or whatever. And he's like, bro, do not give that money to them. Like, give it to me. Like, like I'm literally actually homeless right now.
True.
And
that's so true. Like, that's a whole like history lesson right there.
Exactly. So she's like, she looks at him. She's like, all right, like, I feel it. Like, you're right, right? So she gives him the $5. So the people move on out the cart, but then they keep talking. Like, they keep talking. They're laughing. He starts singing. She starts singing back. He starts rapping. She starts rapping back. And I'm just watching this all because, like, it's starting to kind of seem, like, romantic. Like, now it's kind of starting to seem like he's, like, flirting with her. Yeah. And I knew that she was into it. It was, like, 2, like, older black people. Like, maybe they were, like, 40s, 50s. Yeah. He, like, says something and she starts giggling. And she's like, oh, you're going to get me in trouble. Like, stop it.
What the hell?
I was like, what am I witnessing right now?
What is going on?
The train keeps going.
What train was this?
This was the A.
Oh, of course.
The train keeps going and like it's like starting to get more crowded. It's like Saturday night as we're getting closer and closer to Midtown. It starts to get more and more crowded. So eventually like another older couple like gets on and she looks at the older couple and she's like, oh, you know what? You guys can sit right here. I'm gonna go sit with him. And she like gets up and she goes to sit with him. They were like taking selfies. And then I got off the train, but it just like of all the things that I've seen on the subway, that has been the craziest because I've never seen like a homeless man like wake up and like start kicking game and be successful. Yeah.
Wow. I love that for him.
It was shocking.
I love that for him.
Yeah.
Honestly, get to the bag. Like
you can find love anywhere. He got $5 and a girlfriend.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah, I appreciate that story though because I feel like a lot of times like when you do see homeless people in the subway, which is like very often. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna see homeless people all the time. Like, I don't really like the way certain people like kind of like treat, like, they're already like, you know, embarrassed and like
Yeah.
they feel shame for like asking, but I don't like when people kind of like make them like what do you call that word, like bring out those feelings even more in them by like, you
Yeah.
know, turning away or, you know, like running away from them or stuff. And it's just like, they're
Yeah.
not gonna rob you, like, you know, they're
Yeah.
literally just looking for their next meal. So it's like nice for people to like remember that they're human again, because like I find that oftentimes in New York City people are so desensitized to like the homelessness
Yeah.
here that like they don't even treat these people with any like sort of respect, kindness, or even like acknowledgement. Like,
Yeah.
just acknowledging
That
like
someone
someone's
is
presence
there. Yeah.
can go a long way, you know?
Yeah.
So I just feel like I feel for them, and I just feel like there needs to be a lot of work done within like with the homeless crisis in New York, because it's like insane. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way that, you know, there's all this money within like the state,
Yeah.
you know, and these people are still like lingering around, especially in the cold weather. Like, it's so sad.
Yeah.
Like, they have to like sleep in the subways because that's the warmest thing, or like they go like, you know, those like when you go outside, like the train, what is it called, like the grates on the sidewalk, yeah, or like they would stay there so that there's like some sort of heat.
Yeah, coming up out of it.
And it's just like really sad, like, you know, it's really sad. And I just wish that there was something in place in New York City to like help those people, because I feel like New York City is one of those places where you really like the what do you call that, like the disparity of wealth is like in a magnifying
the
glass.
Inequality is very visible.
Like, you have like the upper, like the people going to like the Upper West Side, taking the one train or something, and then within that same like train cart, like there's like the homeless people, there's people like that have their kids out, and it's like these homeless shelters, like it's so hard to like get in. Like, there's always a line, and sometimes you may not be accepted, and sometimes there may only be like a certain time frame that you can stay there for, then you have to find like your next
you have to leave like during the morning or during the night.
And there's a lot more homeless people than we know, you know, even like the people that we see every day on a day-to-day with kids and stuff, like they can be homeless and we would never know. So it's like, you know, that's something that I've seen like growing up, and I just like, you know, I just really like the feelings that I have with it never changes, you know.
That's something that I wanted to ask you about. So you're one of you're definitely like, of the people that I know in New York, you're in the minority, which is people that are from New York. Yeah. So like, how have you seen, obviously the city has changed as all cities do over the last 22, 23 years, but like, what have been some of the most like things that like stand out to you, of things that are just different from growing up?
So I don't know if there was much of a big change. There probably was, but I also went to like public schools all my life, and then I went to like a private school for college. So I just feel like those experiences kind of like, I don't know if like my environment, like my school environment kind of like put me in a bubble into like what I was noticing in the city. And like going to like, you know, NYU and stuff, like a private school, like, you know, you see things from a different perspective. But growing up in New York City, like I lived in Harlem all my life, and I also lived in Washington Heights for about 5 years. When I was in elementary school going into middle school, I lived there for 5 years.
Is Washington Heights, is that like Upper Manhattan or is that the Bronx?
Upper Manhattan.
Okay. Like the one,
it's like right above Harlem. Around
160s,
160.
160s?
Yeah.
Okay.
I lived on 160 between Broadway and Amsterdam. But like I feel like growing up in New York, in Harlem and Washington Heights, like I've always been surrounded by immigrants, like always. When I lived in Harlem, like I used to live in Little Senegal. There was only Senegalese people or any other like West African families, and it was like they were like fresh off the boat, like they were like true immigrants. Like we're like all the kids were like first gen Americans, so like we had that like shared experience. And even when I went to school, Harlem is also full of Black Americans. When I went to school, there was a lot of like Black Americans, like immigrants like me, like, you know. So I guess, so there was that. Washington Heights is the same thing. It's a lot of Hispanic people, so a lot of Dominicans especially, and Puerto Ricans. And then when I went to college, like I just started to like, see things from a different lens. Like I've never seen so many non-New Yorkers living in New York.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was because like I was going to school in the city.
Yeah.
That's like a pretty, it's like a wealthy school. Like people who have money go there, So it's just like interesting to see like my old neighborhood of Harlem, which was like the hood before. There was like mosque there. Like it was really like the trenches. Like it was not safe. I went to school like 2 blocks away from my apartment when I was younger. And like it was just not safe. Like there's a lot of projects around there. So there was like I think it was like the Bloods or something. Like so it just wasn't safe for like school kids to go out, but
to just be walking. Yeah,
because I'm like the oldest of 3 children.
Oh well, I didn't know that.
I'm the oldest. I have a younger brother and sister who are twins. They're 3 years younger than me. Sometimes I would have to like take myself home because like my mom is like working like really late, and after school ends at like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't like available to like pick me up, so I would have to like take us all home sometimes. But it was an interesting experience because like where I lived, like I said, it was a big like African community, big Black American community. Like it was very like it felt like a community, Yeah. And then I remember like right before we moved to Washington Heights, they like, I think it was like a supermarket or something, but they broke it down and like they like had like a condo. It's like right next to Morningside Park, and I was like, wow, like this is a change. Like as a kid, I'm like, wow, this is so nice. Like it's changing. Like like a luxury apartment building. Even though I'm not living in there, like it's nice to see that. Like as a child, like that was my perspective.
Right.
And then slowly, like when I moved out, I realized that they renamed they were like opening yoga studios. There was a mosque that everyone went there that they couldn't afford rent anymore, so they were kind of forced to like leave and move to the Bronx. So that wasn't there anymore, and that mosque turned into like this like trendy hip yoga studio. And when I moved to Washington Heights, like they renamed that area Soha.
Soha.
Yes, south of Harlem.
South of Harlem, but it was in Harlem.
Yeah, it's in Harlem, but nobody called it that. Like people who live there didn't call it that.
Yeah.
And I realized with the rise of like condos and stuff, they needed to make it more like. They needed to make it sound nicer,
Had to rebrand it
as a marketing like tactic and like bringing people in. But like, like even with the like new condos, like the new like laser studios and like yoga studios and all of that, like it still felt like a community. The Senegalese, like when you go to 116th, all you see is Senegalese people, Senegalese restaurants, Senegalese like markets and stuff. So I didn't really feel as much change there. But when I went to college and I started like exploring Brooklyn, I didn't grow up going to Brooklyn because it was so far and I had no business there. I was only in like Harlem or in the city.
That's something I've realized too. Like since I moved here, when I meet people from New York, like if they grew up in here, like they stayed in their borough.
Exactly.
Like it's very like
exactly.
Like, it's not regional, but
and it's like, what am I doing in Brooklyn? So everything for me was in Harlem. But when I started going to Brooklyn, like my friend like introduced me to Brooklyn Kaja. And like it was interesting to see because I was like, wow, there's a lot of like white people here, like, and then like learning the history of Brooklyn and like Bed-Stuy and like brownstones. It's just like, it's really interesting to like see how much I feel like Brooklyn is like mostly impacted by like, I guess, the change and everything. Brownstones are not like a symbol of like Black wealth anymore. There's just like New York City transplants coming in just trying to find like, something affordable on the market. And it's just like you're displacing a lot of people in doing that. And I also experienced like a lot of my family members moved back to Senegal. So I'm the only,
Oh, really?
I only live with my only, what am I saying? My immediate family only lives like in the United States. Like everybody else has moved back to Senegal.
Was there like
because of that?
Was it just like general economics that
people were, like, and like quality of life? Like it's like you're working, and then all you can afford is a small 1-bedroom. It's like fit your 3 kids and your husband or your wife. So it's like really hard. And like some people started moving to Jersey, like different states, trying to find houses. And like because it's just like me and my like immediate family here. It's been like really interesting to see change and kind of like view it from, and like as a 23-year-old, well, I'm not 23, but I'm turning 23. As a 22-year-old, it's like kind of like seeing things retrospectively. has been like interesting. But yeah.
Wow. Do you think you would ever leave New York?
Probably. I'm open to it, but because like I was raised here, like I just need a city. I just love how accessible New York City is. Like it's so easy to get places, and you don't have to rely on a car or transportation here is like really like I got really lucky like growing up here from transportation. But I was thinking today also, New York City is not that kid friendly. Like people be having like strollers, like going upstairs, going down the stairs, and if you don't have anyone to help you, sometimes like you just have to do it yourself. And like those strollers are big. Yeah. And so not all stations have elevators.
Yeah, and sometimes the elevators are broken.
Exactly. Or they're like dirty, like people be pissing on them. Like it's just like like New York City is really not kid friendly, but like, it's been like my playground. Like the subway, the buses, like all of that is like kind of what I grew up on. So it's like kind of uncomfortable when I go to certain places and there's only like cars. Yeah. And I love to walk. And I feel like if I were to move out of New York City, I'd want a place like a city where I can walk around, and not just have like highways all over.
Yeah. No, when I first, so I'm from Texas, obviously, like car culture. But then I was living in New York for like 2.5 years before I left again. And so then whenever I went home, I walked to the mall one time from my house. And so the mall from my house in Texas is maybe like 3 miles away, 4 miles away, like not close, but like in New York, like
that's pretty far. Yeah,
3 miles away, like you could still walk there.
Yeah, you could.
I did the walk just to see what it would be like in Texas. It took me 4 hours.
Wow.
Because it was just like, it wasn't just like straightforward, like just walk down Fifth Avenue until you get downtown. It was like over a bridge, under a tunnel, across some water, like through a couple of different neighborhoods. Like, a lot of places are just not well connected for walking. And then even when the distance was shorter, like I was living in LA and stuff would be like 1.5 miles away, and I would start walking and then look up and realize that I'm on the side of a highway right now.
Yeah, I remember I went to Italy, right? And I guess this is just me being a New Yorker. I went to Italy with some friends, and like when we search things before, because we all never been to Italy before. When we search things before, even though things are a city, it doesn't mean it's walkable. Yeah. But like when we planned in advance, they were like, "Oh, okay, 14-minute walk. We could do that 14-minute walk." And then when we get there, it's like, okay, you literally have to like take a boat. Or like in Venice, or you literally are gonna walk. Like we walked in Positano, and it's like really, really steep and dangerous. Yeah. So we are walking like alongside the cars,
alongside that highway that runs on the side of the thing. I had to do that,
and it's like, and the turns are so like sudden.
And then too, it's like I feel like
it's
in Italy,
like that was like my scariest experience ever. I was like, wow, like and
it's not like like here, like if you get on a bus, like there's a chance like the bus will have a screen to like tell you what stop, and everything like that. Yeah. But there it's just like randomly stopping on the side of this road on the side of the mountain, and it's like you can either keep walking down the narrow road or like walk down a basically straight flight of stairs down.
And they don't turn slowly like the buses and like the trucks, like they kind of just do like a
they're whipping that shit.
They are, and it's like wow, I felt like such a dumb American. Like I was like, what are we actually doing? None of us, I mean, one of us had their license, but of course it's a different country with like hills and mountains, so you don't always feel comfortable driving. But it was just like wow, like
when I went, I was trying to come, so I had gone to the beach. I took the bus from Sorrento to Positano, I think it was. And so I went to Positano for the day. I was like, okay, this is fun. And like then I was like trying to get back, but like there's no sign. There's not even a timetable. Like it's just vibes. So as I start walking through the town, I'm like seeing like people, and I'm like, do you speak English? Hey, they're like, no. It's like, do you speak Spanish? They were like, a little bit maybe. And I'm like, do you know when the bus is coming? And they're like, bro, just go stand up there and wait.
Yeah, so it's really like tough, honestly. Like, and it's like there was a point where we got all the way up to the hill and we're like, oh no, like we went to the wrong destination. Like this is not how we were supposed to get there, because we were trying to get to a private beach. But with the private beach, you can only get there through a boat. Right. Like it's closed off. Like there's no way that you can get it like going through the mountains. Yeah. Yeah.
So
then when we found out that we went to the wrong place, we're like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna get back down? Like there's no way. And it was just like such a scary moment. But
so you have to live in a place that's like
walkable,
laid out.
Yeah, but I'm also like open. I don't want to like say I don't want to like bite my words and like move to I don't know, Nebraska one day.
I would move to Nebraska.
You would?
I've only been one time. I went to Lincoln.
Omaha?
No, Lincoln.
Oh, never heard of it.
It's the capital.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the capital of
I didn't know
Nebraska, and it also has like the university. I don't know if it's the University of Nebraska or whatever it is, but like they have like one big college there.
Yeah.
That's there. I went for work, and I was like, I mean, this is nice.
Yeah.
Very suburban, just like whatever.
Yeah, like the American life.
Exactly.
What,
like it's just a chill moment. I don't know about Omaha though.
Would you move back to Texas?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I basically did like during the pandemic. Like
no, like for good. Because you live in Brooklyn now. You're Bed-Stuy.
You know, I live in Bed-Stuy, do or die. You know,
yes.
I love my borough. I put my borough on my back. So I don't know if I could ever leave the home of BK Tidal Wave RP. But I mean, I feel like kind of like what you were saying, I definitely recognize. So especially when I got hurt last year, and it was really difficult for me to walk and like get around. I was like, you know, thinking about getting older here like does kind of make me nervous because it's like, you know, you need to be able to get around. You need access to good hospitals and to good doctors, and like you need things to be kind of close and convenient. And like as accessible as New York is, which is like crazy because it's like, you know, if you get injured or something happens to you, you can have the best surgeon in the world here. You can you can go to the best hospital in like
right on Park Avenue.
Exactly. Like I went to, they had an alumni event at the Guggenheim.
Yeah.
Andy Hamilton is like giving the speech, and he's like, he was talking his shit. He is very proud of himself. He was like, NYU, this is the number one city. This is the number one university in New York. NYU Langone, that's the number one hospital in New York. Presbyterian not coming close. Columbia not coming close. Like he was on it, and like he's right. So it's like those things are here, but like if you are like if you know fuck up your knee and can't walk in Bed-Stuy, you're gonna spend $80 on Uber every time you need to go to the hospital and stuff like that. That's very true. And like in Texas, you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have that kind of problem. You may have a surgeon doesn't live here problem, but like if he's there, like you can get to him. So it's like stuff like that.
I can relate to that too because my grandma came to visit the end of last summer. She was here for about 3 months, and my grandma has like a bad knee and her feet swell, so she can't like she has to walk to like reduce the swelling. Yeah. But she came here primarily to like do her doctor appointments because like, you know, here is like the best health care and stuff. Yeah. And like they're more like, you know, in Senegal, like they can be negligent. Yeah. And just kind of like, you know, like brush you away or not recognize things early on. So that's why like she always comes here every 2 years to like, you know, do all her checkups and stuff. Yeah. But thankfully the clinic that she went to was like walking distance from like our house, but she would like, you know, it's kind of hard like walking all the time. And even when she does get in a car, like she needs a car with a lot of space because like her knee is like not good. You can't
bend it all the way, so you need that extra space in the back seat, and so it's like you gotta call Uber accessible,
and then it's like a lot of money that you're spending on top of like the doctor visit, you know,
exactly, which is already dummy expensive,
and then the referrals too, like it's just like it adds up so much because like she went to like a primary care, they referred her to a podiatry. And then like they referred her to like a cardiologist. Like it was just a lot. So it's just like, you know, like all that does add up, and it's just unfortunate.
And like in New York, all those places are different. Like versus like in Texas, it would all be like in the same medical complex. Yeah. Like your primary care doctor, your primary care, your podiatrist, your orthopedic doctor, like your physical therapist would all be like together.
And it just feels like a never ending race. Like you just they refer you to one doctor, another doctor's like, I don't know what the hell this is. You're gonna have to go to another doctor, and then you go to another doctor, and then you're like, what, like 20K in?
Yeah.
Like,
and let's hope you have insurance.
Exactly. And let's hope that they find a solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whatever your issue is,
pay for all the blood tests, and that'll just be the end of it.
For all the tests, all the scans, like it's really like frustrating, you know?
Yeah. No, that happened when I got my knee surgery. So I had insurance, so insurance paid. Yeah. But without insurance, it would have been 85 racks off top.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. But it was like we still had to pay like a certain part of it. So I just paid. It was like a couple thousand, maybe like $2,000 or $3,000.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. But what they didn't tell me was that like the hospital had like financial aid that you could apply for. So I didn't find out until after. So they let me apply retroactively, and I ended up getting like a lot of the money back. But it's like if I hadn't had If I hadn't had the bread ready to run it,
No,
I just would have been
real.
not walking until they approved my financial aid application, which didn't get approved until December.
That's so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the system is not.
Yeah. And I also like saw a video where like certain like medical like institutions, like whenever you go in, they'll like overcharge you for something. Like say if you're giving birth at a hospital, like, you know, you're a pregnant woman and stuff, they'll like charge you for like little things like a towel or like just like a lot of things, and it adds up to a lot of money. But with the video, or I think it was a doctor or a nurse, they were telling you to always ask for an itemized bill because it like breaks down everything to you, or else like you'll just be paying for something that you didn't even get. Like,
No, they run it up. No, I have bad blood with a optometrist in Union Square.
Why?
My op is Union Square Eye Care. When I first moved to New York, I had to go see an optometrist. Okay, move from home. And you know, like when you're like kind of getting out of that kid stage and you have to be the one to like make all your appointments and stuff. So like I didn't know that like it costs. I didn't know that if you haven't, like, I had never in my life had insurance and then had to pay extra because obviously my parents
like a copay
would do that. Yeah. So I know the concept of a copay did not exist to me before the age of 18.
Yeah.
So I go to this optometrist and I give them all my stuff. And my mom had told me, she was like, Nick, ask his copay. So I was like, okay. But in my mind, I was thinking like, how much does it cost for a 20-minute eye appointment? Like how much could it possibly be?
Eye
like
checkup.
$50? I don't know. In my mind, $50 is like the magic number. Like how much should anything cost? $50. maybe 100, maybe. So it's like 50, like whatever, it's fine. Like I'm ready. I go in and I like do my appointment or whatever. And the doctor was very nice. I'm sure the doctor had nothing to do with the billing, as they never do. So then I go to the exit and I ask the woman, she's like, do you have insurance? I say, yeah. She like scans my card. She's like, okay, this is out of state. I got a call. She calls, whatever. She's like, okay, it's all good. I said, all good? She was like, yes. I was like, no copay? She was like, no copay. I said, no extra money, right? She was like, no. I said, okay.
What they did, they billed you.
I left. Sent me a bill for $400, like a month later. And so I look at it and it was like they had billed my insurance to the maximum. So I guess my insurance would only pay $175 for an eye appointment. And so they billed it to the maximum. And then they sent me another bill for the remainder because this 20-minute eye appointment costs $600. And so I just called them back. And I was like, the woman said to me that my tab had been handled. It was closed and that there was no copay. So if you do not remove this charge, I'm going to file a Better Business Bureau complaint against you. Period. They were like, okay, we got it. No worries. I was like, yeah, go to hell.
Yes, that's my future lawyer right there.
Yes. You know what? That is
you better put some respect on his name.
That is a great segue because I want to talk to you about your modeling career. Yes. I think it is so fascinating. So the background on what she just said is that she had done the shoot and you didn't get paid. And yeah. And so she was telling you about it and she was like, yeah, like I didn't get paid. I was like, well, do you want to do something about it? We don't got to take that line down. And so then I helped her write like a cease and desist.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But can you just tell me what's it like to be a model working in the commercial world right now?
I really enjoy it, actually. I've been modeling since the end of 2019. I got scouted for a Glossier campaign.
How did you get scouted?
On Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, the casting director found my Instagram, was like, hey, like, are you available for a shoot tomorrow or whatever? And I was like, yeah, like, I was so excited because I've always wanted to model. And, she emailed me, like, all the paperwork and stuff. And, because I wasn't signed with the agency, I had to, like, look over and sign everything. Yeah. And agree to a rate. I was so happy because I thought the rate was so high. I was like, wow, like, I'm going to be so rich, you know? But then after that, that's when, like, I got discovered by my agency through that, like, campaign shoot. And I got signed at the end of 2020.
Okay. And what was the process like? Do you like your agency? How do you feel about being represented?
I do like my agency. So they're like a mother agency. So it's not like the big agencies like IMG or Next, but my agency kind of like prioritizes like support for models and model development so that when you do get to these bigger agencies, you have like a good portfolio and you have a lot of experience under your belt. So it's like a good like preparation and like route to you know, kind of like being like this big model or signing to bigger agencies.
Yeah.
And it's also like, I like how transparent they are too with like pay. And I also like how they're always like negotiating for more, like for the models.
Yeah.
And whenever I have a bad experience on set, I'm able to tell them, and like they won't work with the client again. So like they, like I feel like a lot of agents or agencies, like they don't really care about morals. It's just like, okay, like we need to make money because they make money off of whatever you make, 20%. Yeah. So it's nice and refreshing to like have like an agency or agents that like care about you and like truly want you to have a nice and comfortable, well-paid experience in the industry, you know?
Yeah. Tell us about like, so, you know, this is Elitist Anthropology.
Yes.
So can you just like walk us through like what is like a day on set? Like your average job.
Yeah.
Like how does it come about? Like what's the timeline between maybe like does the client do like they find you? Do they talk to your agency first? Like what is that process like? And then like what is it like from like the moment you step on set? How does it go?
So from my understanding, I don't really know what my agents do, honestly, but from my understanding and predictions, I believe that they have like their own database of like jobs or you know, like jobs that are gonna happen soon. So like they would submit their models depending on who's a good fit for it. So like, you know, maybe a beauty shoot. I do mainly beauty, so like they would submit me from our beauty brands. And or like the casting directors will look on the website and see like which models they like, and the casting directors ask the agents like, oh, is this model available?
Is that what like put them on hold means?
Yeah.
Like, do they ask to put you on hold?
Yeah.
I'm doing air quotes for everybody.
Yes. So the casting directors will ask the agents, hey, is this person available this date for this shoot? Sometimes they won't even disclose the shoot because like, you know, confidentiality or whatever. Yeah. So then my agents will like reach out to me and they're like, oh, are you available this day? Perfect. They like reach out to the client and see if they, you know, like you. So it's like a lot of people to go through: the casting director, the client, the agents, and the model. Okay. Like it's that line of community. Like you have a lot of people to go through. And then if the client like approves, they're like, okay, like put it on hold. And then like closer to the actual shoot date, if they really like you, they will confirm you.
So what does it mean? So when they confirm, is the confirmation just like verbal? Do you have to sign an agreement? Is there a deposit? Like
so the confirmation means like you're confirmed for the shoot, and like that's when the agents are gonna start filling out the paperwork, because we don't really do any paperwork as models, as talent. Yeah. Our agents handle all of that pay negotiation. They're like, oh, you're confirmed for this date, for this rate, and for this usage. Okay. So you kind of know like where you're getting yourself into for this client. For, you know, sometimes they'll send like a creative direction, like, you know, deck. Yeah. Or, you know, something that they're, you know, trying to do before the shoot, like asking for hair. Oh, make sure you come with bare nails, or make sure you, you know, get your nails done in this SE color, and then we'll put it on the invoice and reimburse you. So yeah, that's what that is.
Wow. Okay. So then let's say that the deal is negotiated, it's signed, you've been confirmed. Take us through like a day on set.
Okay. So everything happens within such a short timeline. So you usually get confirmed for a shoot at the most like a week before the shoot, or like a couple days before. Like everything happens like so quickly. Yeah. But so you'll get the call sheet usually the night before the shoot, or the evening or the day, which I really don't like, because it's just like, okay, like I don't really know where the shoot is. Like I need to prepare this and that. I don't know what time I'm coming. As a
note, my call sheet came early.
Yes, his call sheet came like a week early, I think. So Nick did that, yeah. They'll send you the call sheet really like late, you know, an hour. I mean, like the night before. There was one time I had a shoot at 7 a.m. the next day, and I didn't get the call sheet until like 8 p.m.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, okay, so now I have to be in Brooklyn, in Greenpoint, at 7 a.m.
That's 4 trains away, so I gotta leave the house at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Like, I had to like take a car, and it was just like, okay, like it would have been nice to know that I would have been coming here earlier, you know? Yeah. But yeah, so you get the call sheet, you go to the shoot. Sometimes before they send the call sheet, they'll ask you to get COVID tested with like the COVID stuff, or like they'll send you to like a clinic. So like they like work with a clinic, and they pay them directly, and they have like a list of the people that they need to be tested, like the crew, the cast, and just everyone.
So you just go to the same place and do
it. So they do it, and then they send your results to the client, so the client knows, or the production. They send it to the production because the client is just like, you know, commissioning all these people to work.
Yeah, is it often that like the client hires a production company, the production company is the one that's running the shoot? Is it ever that it's like the client itself that's running the shoot?
I rarely see in-house production. Like most of the times client hire production because shoots are very like, there's a lot that goes into it. Hiring like photographers, videographers, their assistants, you know, all that stuff. So, but the client is just there sometimes to kind of like double check and make sure everything is going good and like the vision matches, you know. But and then so you get COVID tested. Sometimes they'll do on-site testing. It's like you get there, before you even like touch anything, like right at the door, they're gonna swab your nose, and then you wait a little bit to get the results. Then you go in, and sometimes they'll stagger call times so that you know. They can like work or shoot certain people first before other people come. Or sometimes everyone has the same call time. And that's when it's the most hectic because it's when there's only like 3 makeup artists and like 2 assistants. It's like, okay, like whose makeup are you going to do first? Whose hair are you going to do first? But they have like a whole like agenda schedule thing sometimes. So yeah, you go into hair and makeup, sometimes nails if they have a nail artist, and then you shoot. My longest shoot day has been that same shoot I was saying was like 12 hours long for 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Because it was an e-com and a campaign shoot.
Can you explain what that means?
E-com is like for websites, and those are my least favorite shoots, honestly.
Oh, really? Why?
Because they pay the least, but they're the most amount of work. Because you keep changing into different like clothes or changing into different makeup looks.
My friend Luis is also a model. He was telling me like he did something for Urban Outfitters, and he was like, basically like you go and it's like a race to put in as much outfits as you can,
and it's like so hectic and like it's just too much going on, you know. So there's e-com, but the campaigns I love because sometimes it's like, you know, just a couple looks and it's more fun, and like there's like a nice setting. Sometimes it's on location, so outside. Sometimes it's in studio, they have like a backdrop and stuff. But campaigns are my favorite, and they pay like really well. What are the other types of shoots that you've done? Like I've done beauty, I've done like underwear brands, I've done
oh yeah, you did parade, right?
Yeah, I did do parade.
I've seen your parade. Around.
Yeah, I did the parade bralette launch.
There was a time which I feel like at NYU, there was a time in which every sophomore girl was in a parade
packages.
I was getting the parade
packages, right? Yeah. I was getting them too. I think everybody got parade packages, honestly. Like, I don't know, like parade. I don't know. It's really interesting.
So
it was a nice shoot, but I feel like because I was a newer model, they kind of like took advantage of me. I don't even know if I should be saying this on here because like, you know, they paid me and everything, but like they told my agents that they would only need me for half days, both days. So they pay me the rate that they paid me for half day, but I was really there for the full day, both days. So I was just like, okay.
Does that happen a lot?
Not really. That was like the only time that happened, but there would be some times where clients or production doesn't communicate something to the agents, and the models don't know until they get on set. Like I have a lot of issues with hair. Like
I was gonna ask about that. Like,
oh my god,
being because we've talked about it like offline, but like being a Black model,
it's so hard.
What is that like?
So I prefer to come to set with my braids, like just so that like whenever the hairstylist is there, like if they're not Black or they can't work with my hair, all you gotta do is lay some edges or just leave it alone, honestly, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like when I come there with my natural hair, it's kind of like this confusion, like, oh, what do I do? And like they're trying to look through your Instagram to see what hairstyles you've done before, or you gotta do their job for them. And like the hair thing, like it's, I don't know, it's like a constant struggle, honestly. And there would be times where you do come with braids, but like the hairstylists don't prioritize you, but they're spending 2 hours on a white model's hair. They keep flat ironing her hair, and like the Black model, they're like, oh, you look great, and it's just like, no, like you're supposed to be doing my hair too, like style my hair, you know? So it's kind of like frustrating to see like how they treat like people with like straighter hair or more manageable hair versus like you know, Black kinky hair. So I think hair and makeup is like the 2 common struggles for Black models, but more so hair.
One thing that I think is really interesting about you is that, like I said, like, to me, you're everywhere.
Yeah.
I see you everywhere I go.
Yeah.
But, like, you're not really online like that. Like, you're not really on, like, you're not really on Instagram.
Not anymore.
You're not really on YouTube or anything.
Yeah.
And I just think that's such a, like, I guess there's, like, an irony, or there's such an interesting, like, contradiction in that.
Mm-hmm.
What role do you feel like social media, or just, like, being an online presence plays, or actually does not need to play in a career that's, like, so aesthetic driven, like modeling?
I think it plays a huge role, honestly. Like, a lot of casting directors are on Instagram looking for models. Like, they keep an eye out. Like, they're always looking at pages. I used to be more active on Instagram than I am now. I don't know. I just feel, like, really shy on Instagram, honestly. I don't know why. Or just social media in general. Like, I feel really shy on there, so I don't post as often. But it's interesting because I'm also, like, I'm on the content creation board on my agency. So I do make some content for clients sometimes, and there's a lot of money in that. So
Tell me more about this.
Content creators, like, I don't know if you've ever seen, like, I don't know, like, when I'm doing, like, my own makeup, or, like, from my house, or, like, from my place. Yeah. So a lot of, like, with COVID and stuff, there's been, like, a rise of, like, influencer marketing. Like, that's, like, the most accessible marketing and the easiest. And, like, I feel like the most effective too, because everyone's always on their phones. People are, like, influencers are, like, praised and all of that. Yeah. So a lot of clients, especially, like, beauty, clothing, all that stuff, they will, like, send models, like, their products, and ask them to, like, do a video, get ready with me video, and, like, send them the materials, or you can edit it, either or. Yeah. And, like, they'll put it on their TikTok, Instagram. The first content creation video I've ever done was for Makeup Forever, and that actually went viral on TikTok. Like, it had, like, over 1 million views, and I wasn't on TikTok, but people kept sending it to me. And yeah, like, after that, like, I've been doing, like, work with, like, Ilia Beauty, First Aid Beauty, Half Magic. So it's really fun because you kind of, like, get to dictate your own, like, creativity. Yeah. And you kind of get to do things on your own time and still get paid really well. And imagine if, like, you're working with a lot of brands, like, it's really nice to be able to do things from the comfort of your home without going to set.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't. So has that been, like, a growing sector, like, at your agency and just, like, in your career?
Yeah, I feel like it's been a growing sector everywhere, honestly. Like, even, like, higher end brands, like, they will, like, send influencers, like, their nicest products and have them review it, because, like, people are like, oh my god, like, what does this look like on a dark skinned girl? Like, you want to see it, like, you want to see it. Like, I feel like they're trying to, like, play more into the relatability aspect rather than, like, campaign, like, unreal, oh my gosh, I can't achieve this look. But, like, with the influencer and content creation, you're like, okay,
but it's like,
it makes it more relatable.
Instead of, like, hiring, like, so when I think of influencer marketing, I think of, like, like for makeup, it's like a Jackie Aina, like, instead of, like, a YouTuber who's, like, their own person, like, instead of doing, like, a deal with them, instead they go to the agencies and have the models do it, and so then they still, like, have control of the content, but it still has that, like, look and feel of aesthetic as, like, if it's just a normal person. And I feel like there's more of micro influencers now, which I guess I'm a micro influencer because I only have 3,000 followers on Instagram. Yeah. But it reaches a lot of people. And, like, when you do it constantly, like, you're garnering views, you're, like, making this client a lot of money. So it's, like, Yeah. Especially being, like, a darker skin model. Like, I feel like I get a lot of things for, like, foundation. Like, they want to see how it looks on me. So... Yeah, it's nice, and I want to tap into, like, posting more. Yeah, maybe I'll post something today. Who knows? Okay. Yes, you can post. I was on the Elitist Anthropology podcast.
Yes,
it was the most amazing experience of my life.
Yes, but I think the reason why I'm not on social media is I'm just shy. Like, I don't like to be, like, seen. I don't know. Yeah. But, like, I need to get back and get to the bag. Like, I can't.
Yeah, there's definitely a bag waiting for you there.
No, there is. There is. And I'm trying to tap into that. So, okay. Yeah.
I want to talk about Senegal now.
Yes.
I had never met a Senegalese person until I moved to New York.
Really?
And now all my friends are Senegalese.
Oh, yes.
all my friends are Senegalese.
Wow.
It was literally, like, my whole life shifted. Like, when I was in Texas, there's not even that many East Africans in Texas, but just all of my African friends were East African.
Oh.
No. Kenyan and Ethiopian.
I'm
Sudanese.
surprised because I thought Texas had a lot of Nigerians.
No, they do.
Oh.
Everybody I knew was East African.
Yeah.
And then I moved to New York and it just totally flipped. Now every person I know is Senegalese or Nigerian.
New York is a lot of West Africans, like Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Mali, Ivory Coast, like you name it.
Yeah, Sierra Leone. Like,
Sierra Leone,
no, y'all out here. I learned, like, I went back home and at the Dallas Museum of Art, they have like a huge African exhibit, and they have like a big map, and I was like naming like all the countries. I was like, oh, I know this one, I know this one, I know this one. I know where Gabon is.
Period.
Boom, that's Gabon right there. So just like you moved back and forth. Just tell me, like, how do you feel and what do you think about Senegal?
I love Senegal. Senegal is definitely home for me. So to just give some like insight, I was born in Harlem Hospital. My mom moved here within when she was due in 3 weeks. Like she was not trying to leave, but you know, I had to get my papers. So yeah. So I'm here now. American citizenship. My mom's naturalized now. Oh wow. So as soon as I got all my shots, like I was too young to even remember it. As soon as I got all my shots and vaccines and stuff, I moved to Senegal and I was living with my grandparents at the time because my parents were here in America. But it was like, I don't really remember a lot of it until like I was like, 3 or 4. Like that's when I remember most. But like it was just truly home. Like I would go between my grandma's house. And honestly, there was like a lot of family conflict, so it wasn't like the safest space for me. And I miss my mom a lot, and I just feel like growing up, I wasn't like, I'm closer to my mom now than I was when I was a child because I was like always so far away from her. Yeah. And then when my brother and sister were born, so I moved back like before kindergarten.
Okay, so maybe like 4 years old, 5 years old? Okay.
Yeah. So I moved back before kindergarten, and at that time, my brother and sister were born. So it was just like a lot for my mom. So like every summer,
that's kind of like having like 3 new kids.
Yeah,
almost.
Exactly. So every summer or spring, I would go back to Senegal with my dad, and my mom wasn't able to go back because she didn't have her papers yet. But I would always go back. I learned the language, and that's how I learned the language, just by going back and forth. Because even though like my parents speak to me in the language, now they really only speak to me in English. Really? Yeah, but I'm grateful for the opportunity that I was able to like, live in Senegal, between Senegal and New York, and, learn more about my culture and where I'm from. I think it's really important as like a first-gen Senegalese American.
Yeah. And so what part of Senegal are you from? What part of Senegal are there? Can you kind of explain like what's
so there's the capital, Dakar.
Okay.
Which most people know. Like that's the city, that's where everyone is at. But my family lives in Dakar, but where we're from, my mom's side of the family is from Fouta, which is in the north, Fouta Toro. Okay. In a small village called Kanel that I actually got to visit last year.
Oh wow, how was that?
It was really nice and super hot. Oh my gosh. Oh, really? It was like 125 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow. No,
yes.
That's like really hot.
Yeah, like the water was naturally hot.
Like just like in the lake.
Like the hot water. Like it was hot water in the shower. Like, oh wow. Or like when I was brushing, I was like, wow, this is nice warm water. But it was just because it's so hot that everything is hot. Yeah. And I almost fainted, but that's that. It was really nice seeing like where my mom grew up though. And my dad's side of the family, so we're all like Pular, Halpular, or Fulani. Okay. My dad's side of the family is actually from Mauritania. Oh, okay. But my dad moved from Mauritania when he was young. So he's from Mauritania in a village called Bahe, which is really close to Senegal.
Is Mauritania to the north of Senegal? Yeah. And then Nigeria is to the south, right?
I don't really know if Nigeria is south. I just know that Mauritania is north, and then in between Senegal is like the Gambia. Yeah. Yeah. So that's as far as I know.
The Smiling Coast.
The Smiling Coast of Africa, yes. Yes. But so yeah, my dad's family's from Mauritania, but they don't really like. Even my maternal grandfather, he's also from Mauritania. Really? Yeah. So I guess 75% of my family is Mauritanian, but I don't really claim that because all I knew was Senegal. Yeah. And they all live in Senegal now, and also like Mauritania is not an easy place to live because there's like huge, like because it's like, I guess it can be considered North Africa too. Yeah, there's a lot of
I don't know if it's quite in the Maghreb, but it's getting close.
Yeah, super, and it's like deserty, so it's like right on the Sahara. There's like the black Mauritanians and the Arabs, and So like there was always tension, racism, and all of that, which is why a lot of Black Mauritanians don't enjoy living there.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, any other North African country, like they were super, super racist. And that's why Senegal is like home to a lot of people too. Like you see a lot of Guineans moving there too, Gambians. Like, but I love Senegal. And I can't wait to go back.
Are you going back anytime soon?
I hope to go back this year with my mom, but I'm not sure yet.
I really want to go.
You should come. I'll host you.
I got a whole trip, like a whole trek I got to do.
Yeah.
I want to go to Senegal. I want to go to Nigeria. I want to go to Ghana.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be. I just saw this tweet that went viral, and they were saying that like Ghana, the people treat Ghana like Miami.
Oh yeah, now it is. Honestly, when I went to Ghana last December, it felt like Miami.
Really?
Yeah.
What are the vibes like in Ghana? I don't know.
I feel like it's changed because when I went for study abroad back in 2020, I went at the end of January until like the middle of March before like the COVID, like the shutdown happened. But it was really nice. Like Ghanaians are like, I feel like there's a lot of similarities between Ghana and Senegal, but the main difference is like the traditional and cultural aspects because Ghana is a more Christian country while Senegal is more of a Muslim country. Yeah. So in Senegal, like it's way more conservative compared to like Ghana where people are just kind of like, you know, out and about doing their own thing. Yeah. But it's really nice. Like it's really safe, I feel like, and it's so accessible too. Like Ubers cost like $2 to go anywhere, you know? Yeah. And yeah, $2, $1. Like it's really nice.
Wow. That's so.
But when I went in December last year, it was like, there were like people coming from Miami. There were the UK girls. Like
it was the same.
It was the New Yorkers.
I was on Instagram
and I was
doing
like,
some anthropology.
I was like,
looking through the IG stories, like.
And also their prices got like it was so expensive. Like when I went to Ghana in 2020, I was like, oh my god, I'm living life. I only spent like $100 this whole trip. And then I went back. And I spent so much money last December, like so much money.
No, it's changing. Even I had a professor in LA, she's Black, and her she's African American, but she's really, really into like the right of return, like diasporic, you know, that type of vibe. And she was like, I really want to move back to Ghana when I retire. Like that's like kind of the time. I
feel like everyone is moving there, and that's why the prices are getting
precisely.
Higher,
And so then she ended up she's from Seattle, even though she lives in LA, and she ended up like buying a house in Seattle. But we were talking about it the other day, and she was like, even like the prices, the real estate market in Ghana is like very, very different. It used to be that you could live in Accra or even just like a nice suburb for like a really reasonable price, so where you would kind of feel like, oh, this is not bad. And she was like, but now it's things are changing.
I feel like a lot of like I feel like this is a lot of countries, but I'm from Senegal, so I can speak to Senegal, and I've been to Ghana. But like tourism plays such a huge role. Like as soon as like there's people coming, like a lot of people coming in to like, you know, visit the country and kind of like add more of a tourism aspect to it. Like that's when everything the economy changes. Even Senegal is really expensive now. They like built like a train system there so that you can go from like Dakar to like other like cities in Senegal, like what do you call that, like Chess, which is like a beach resort town. But everything is like changing, honestly, and I don't know, like I want to retire my mom there too, but it's also like, I don't know, my mom is like too American now, I think.
I was going to ask, my friend was telling me the other day that their mom had, no, this was not my friend. This was a book I was reading. That was a memoir. I was like trying to remember the story. This is a book that I was reading. It was a memoir. It's by Constance Wu. It's just written so personally. I felt like she was talking to me, but she was like, her mom had like a, like kind of like, not a breakdown, but like her mom got very emotional the day that she realized that she had been living in America longer than she had ever lived in Taiwan. They're Taiwanese. And how that was like a really big like culture shift.
Wow.
And she was like, you know,
that's really my mom. I didn't even think about it.
Like I couldn't even think about going to Taiwan because like that's not me anymore. Like, this is the greater part of my life.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, wow. Yeah, that's so true. And I think my mom relates a lot too, because my mom is like very like introverted, and Senegal is like the country of extroverts. Like
really?
Yes, like weddings, baby showers, like they love a ceremony. They love a ceremony.
Really?
They love like getting dressed up, like going out, like they love events, you know.
Yeah.
And so like, it's a place for extroverts, and like, that's where all the gossip happens. I'm like, oh, did you hear about this person? Like,
Yeah.
So, and like I was talking to my mom about it. She was like, yeah, like how she just doesn't know if she can like live there, because then everybody will be in your business, and like she just likes how New York, everybody minds their business and no one knows what she's up to.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of comfort in that.
Yeah.
But in Senegal, when it's so tight knit, everybody knows each other.
Right.
All you got to do is say your last name and your father's name, and they know who you are.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like if I say, oh, Nicholas, last name Santibi, that's what it's called in Wolof. Santibi. Holden. Okay. Kanmoisa Pap. Who's your father? And then they're like, oh, this is your grandfather. Yeah. So it's kind of like everybody knows each other. Yeah. Just off of your last name.
I think also, too, that's the nation of like being like in a very like an old society.
Yeah.
Like the like, not the brand, I guess you wouldn't say, but like your family becomes known, and like people just grow together.
And it's also like they have caste systems there too. So your last name, has like a certain like caste system. So there's like the craftsmen, there's like the kings and the queens, there's the oral historians, or like the storytellers / poets. There's like the lower people, but I feel like that system is so like antiquated. Yeah. And like even my grandma, she still follows it. Like
I was gonna ask, does it still like have weight? Like I'll talk about this with my Indian friends sometimes, and they're like, officially the caste system is done away with, but like we have eyes, like you can see, like it's still present. So do you feel like it's still present there as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like even when my grandma was here, she was telling me like, oh, please don't marry an American, or please don't marry a white person. Like, this is not good. For like my grandma is all about legacy. And because like our last name is like the Torodo, which is the kings and the queens caste system of the Halpular ethnic group, the Fulani ethnic group, like she wants to like maintain like the pride of being a Halpular and being a Fulani. So back in the days, she didn't let any of my aunts and uncles, her children, marry a Wolof person, and Wolof people are the majority in Senegal. Because she's like, no, like we have to keep it like Halpular, like Pular is best. Like if you go to Senegal, you'll notice that the Halpular people have the most like pride. The president of Senegal right now, he's Halpular, and they just have like a lot of pride. They think they're on top of the world. They think that nobody could touch them. There's like a lot of elitism involved in that, and
elitist anthropology.
Yes,
that's why we're here today.
But it's like so like. I feel like now no one really follows it, but they low-key do, because elders are still alive. So they're like, oh, we got to make sure my great-great-grandchildren still have like, the royalty blood. Like it's all about royalty.
So it's like it's fallen out of fashion, but it's still present in the culture.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Like it's not like, like it's not as common anymore, but it still happens, Yeah. And like every time you marry, whenever like a woman gets married, they always ask, oh, who's the last name of the husband? To see.
And it's like, is it something that would like stop a marriage, or it's just something that people will talk about? Like people will still ask, even if it doesn't make a difference, or it still makes a difference?
It might make a difference, because like, like it's such a family oriented society in Senegal. Like there's like it's very like traditional, where you have to like get, dating is not even like something that's acceptable. You don't date, you court a woman. And then when you court a woman, that's when you like propose to her father, and then you pay the father like money or dowry or like cows or whatever. Yeah. And then you basically like, you buy your way into getting the woman that you want, and then you get married, and that's like how that happens. So it's like, oh wow. But in the process of marriage, there's like a lot of people involved, the mother, the father of the bride. And like they have to like validate the marriage. Like it's a whole business. Like this is it's a whole business. Yeah. And then that's when like because it's like an Islamic place, the husband will either sign polygamous or monogamous. So
is polygamy still very present in Senegal?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. One thing about Senegalese men, they're gonna be like, oh, Allah said we are allowed up to 4 wives. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's very common. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have to move on. But
yeah.
you might have to come back because
Yes.
I need to know more about this.
I'll give you a whole history lesson in another episode.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Yes.
Okay, so I have 2 more questions for you before we wrap up. Right. So the first one is, what music and movies are you interested in right now?
You know, it's really hard for me to watch movies.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my attention span just isn't wired that way anymore. Like, I think the last movie I've watched was probably Avatar. And it was so long, and I like fell asleep for 30 minutes, and it was still going. And I was like, don't get me wrong, it was a nice movie, but I just feel like movies. You know what's crazy?
What?
Movies have gotten so much longer, and songs have gotten so much shorter.
That's true. Like a movie will smooth be 2.5, 3 hours. Like Avatar: The Way of the Water was 3 hours and 10 minutes.
No, literally.
Versus like Ice Spice, who's the greatest musician living.
Yeah,
is like
it's 1 minute and 30 seconds. Like, so yeah, like I'm really trying to get more into movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching shows lately. I've been watching Emily in Paris.
Okay.
But I don't usually watch stuff like that. Like, you know.
Yeah.
What is that called? Like a sitcom? Is that a sitcom?
Yeah, that's like sitcom, half hour, 25 minutes.
Yeah, like when I watch shows or movies, like I prefer more like suspenseful and like,
like thriller, dramatic kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that. Like I loved Ozark. Did you watch Ozark?
I haven't seen that. I've heard about that though, right?
Yeah, I loved Ozark, and oh my God, I love my soap operas, my Senegalese shows.
Okay,
they're
really,
so good.
Give us some game.
My favorite one right now is called Karma.
Okay.
Me and Janova watch it
That sounds
together.
very dramatic.
Yes. Oh my God.
I can see Janova liking that.
It like touches on polygamy, kids that are bred out of wedlock. It touches on infidelity, stealing, like all the stuff.
Is it in French?
It's in Wolof and French.
Okay.
Yeah, but then sometimes they'd be trying to like add in some English, and it's just like, stop. You're not Gambian, like, because you know Gambia was colonized by
English, right?
Yeah, they were colonized by the British.
Francophone, and then what is
Anglophone?
Okay,
yeah,
Gambia's Anglophone.
But it's really good. Like, you know, every Saturday and Tuesday, I'm like hooked to like my YouTube screen. Like, oh my God.
Oh, it goes on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what music are you listening to now?
I've been listening to Ashake. He's a Nigerian artist.
Okay.
So like his music is like kind of like choir, like gospel.
Okay.
Not really gospel, but it's like it has that feel to it.
Yeah.
Like he's not singing about like church and God and stuff, but it has like the gospel feel with the choir and stuff. I've really been liking his music. Of course, our queen, New York queen, Ice Spice.
Ice Spice. Like.
you know, it's just refreshing to not have to listen to a lot of lyrics sometimes or complex words or lyrics. But I do love a good, like, well-written song too.
Yeah.
I've been also listening to a lot of Kalela.
Oh, I like Kalela. Oh, did you hear her new song that came out?
Washed Away?
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. But I've been listening to Hallucinogen. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like she's amazing. I need her to drop another project. She's so underrated. I feel like
she is underrated, but I feel like it's because she doesn't like to do like a lot of promo and like she's like you. Like she's not. She keeps it low key. She's not all in your face. Like.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I've been listening to. So I'm not listening to a lot of like current music. I'm not like, oh my God, what music dropped today? I'm more into like, okay, like, you know, I'll take it back a couple years. And
do you have like an all time like favorite album that you're like, this is like, put this on, I'm gonna act up?
I would say Late Registration by Kanye West.
Okay.
That's like my absolute favorite album. Like I love that album so much. And that's a hard question, honestly. Yeah, I've also been listening to Diana Gordon. Kaja actually put me onto her, and I realized that she doesn't really make music. She's just like a songwriter, and she works with like really prominent artists.
Well, she used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to go by a different name. Winter Gordon.
Yeah. But I feel like she should make music. Her songwriting is so good. Her pen is amazing. And her music is really good. I've been listening to her projects. Raelyn, what is it called? Forgot what it's called. It's like the black and white cover.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, her music is really good.
It's so good.
I saw her one time, because I've been a fan of her like for like a long time. Back when she was Winter, I was.
And you know what's crazy? She's in her early 40s. I did not know that.
Her early 40s?
Yes, she's like my mom's age, or almost my mom's age. Yes.
I guess that.
I thought she was like late 20s.
That
or
makes
early
sense.
30s.
I mean, she's been
in the industry for a long time.
Yeah, she's been in the industry since I was like 13.
Yeah.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I love her. And I saw her actually because she did a concert at Public.
Oh, really?
It was the craziest thing. So she was signed to Atlantic or Warner or something.
Mm-hmm.
The same label that this girl, do you know this rapper named Chica?
Yeah.
Okay, so her and Chica were on the same label. Chica was putting out an album and they were doing like a surprise show, pop-up show. But then Winter Gordon was like opening for her.
Oh, I
guess
see.
Just like, whatever, we were on the same label, like vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tried to get tickets, but I couldn't. I guess Chica's fans, they was not playing with those with the tickets. And so then I like DM'd her and I was like, please, like, come on, hold it down. She was like, all right, okay, like I'll put you on the list. Like, it's good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Who, Winter or Chica?
Winter, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll fuck with her forever based off that. And yeah, her music is so dope.
Wow.
That's a green flag that you like Diana Gordon.
Yeah.
She's the best.
Yeah, her music is really good. And actually Kajab put me onto her back in 2020 when she released that project. But I didn't really listen to her until now. But music, it's so beautiful, like how it just continues to exist. Yeah. Like even outside of like the time that it was like released.
And it changes like how you relate to it.
Exactly.
Like, that's also really great.
Yeah. And oh my God, I also love Lemonade. Lemonade is also another. Lemonade and Self-Titled Beyonce are like.
I think to me, 4 is her favorite. Is her best album. 4.
4? Oh my God, 4, yes. Oh my gosh.
I love 4, but Self-Titled is sick.
Self-Titled is like her sexy album. This is I'm Grown album.
I went back to listen to it after that video from Dubai went viral. Like
the runs?
Do you want to do the Drunken Love Challenge right now?
I'm not doing it, Nick. You want me to embarrass myself?
Yes. Right now, do the Drunken Love Challenge. Baby, all night.
No, I'm mad Beyonce didn't find me out. But this is why I gotta get into my social media
Exactly.
bag.
You gotta get your clout up so that you can take me. I want to be the clout chaser. I want to live the soft life.
No, it's time to be a clout chaser. Like I've been humble for too long, modest for too long.
Exactly. It's time to be elitist. It's time for you to step up.
Exactly.
Okay, Tabara.
Yes.
Last question.
Yes.
Where do you want to be 5 years from now?
Wow, it's a deep question. 5 years from now, I'll be turning 28. I'll be 27, turning 28. Wow, that's crazy. Well, 5 years from now, I'm hoping to be getting my doctorate degree.
Okay.
I want to become a professor in history, in African history. Like that's my ultimate goal, dream. So I want to be doing that and hopefully like start teaching at the collegiate level or like, really working because education is my passion. And I just want to work to make it like more accessible, and I guess that's where I see myself in 5 years. Hopefully I'll be married by then, but I don't know. I'm not going to put a timeline on that. And hopefully like still modeling internationally and not just, in New York. And I don't know, like that's such a hard question, honestly, because it's like 5 years ago, I was how old? 18. Yeah. I didn't imagine that I would be in this position today. So
you didn't imagine you'd be on my podcast?
No, I didn't. But hey, look at God.
He makes a way for great things to happen.
But yeah, like I don't know. Like I'm really like I'm not one of those people that has like a fixed like idea in mind. Like I'm super open to whatever happens because that's just life. Like, Yeah. We don't have all the control to what we want. Like you just have to like ride the wave, Yeah. And like I'm just really open. I want to use this time. I'm still really young. Like I'm not one of those people who's trying to like, get old so quick and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so grown. I have to do this and that. Or take on responsibilities that, an older person should take on. Yeah. I just want to continue having fun, living my life. And just like tapping into other passions that I might have too. Like that's why I really like admire you because like you're always doing something. Like Nick is like 10 things at once. He makes music. He's a tech guy. I don't even know what he does at work, but he's a tech guy. Now he's a podcaster. Like you be doing everything. So
I like to get around,
Yeah, and it's like it's fun to do that, Yeah. So I just want to be more open to like what God has in store for me, honestly. And yeah.
All right. Well,
Yes.
I hope all of those things happen for you.
Yes, inshallah.
Inshallah. It will happen.
You can't forget that.
And thank you so much for coming on the pod today.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun. You got to invite me again.
I will. Season 2. It's all you.
Season 2, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for
listening. See you on
Spotify. Yeah, see you on Spotify. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thank you to Mikla Studios. Thank you, Raelyn, for helping out.
Thank you, Raelyn.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
For running the session. And we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Cheers.